Certainly about the kids. It doesn't seem to be much of a tighter than it is.
We have prepared everyone for coming out today. We have prepared for Bulls game against Eastern Michigan on Saturday. Joined by head coach Jeff Quinn today is junior running back Anthony Taylor, coming off his second straight 200-run game, 219 yards and 3 touchdowns against Bowling Green on Saturday. Coach, if you want to open up with a statement, and then we'll take questions.
Very good. Thank you, John. We appreciate everyone being here. Going back from Saturday, it was an unbelievable game played by 2 very talented football teams. I felt our coaches and players were well prepared. They were energized throughout the game. But now we have to respond. We have to respond the right way, continue playing and making our plays, and being complete by finishing. And this young man to my right has certainly responded. You know, to be able to have Anthony back-to-back 200 yards just demonstrates the commitment that he has to being an excellent football player, but also the way the other guys around him have played. And then to see it on Sunday with Bo Oliver, what an incredible weekend for the running backs and the UB Nation's been treated. And they're going to be able to see it again this Sunday. This Saturday with Eastern, it's going to be an important game for us to go back on the road and really take care of business. But it's been exciting. And then with a big win there, you know, we'd be able to see 2 of our former players going at it on the field, which would be exciting. So it's an exciting time for our football program, and I'm excited about the way our kids are responding and preparing for this next opponent. So with that, I'll open up to any questions you have. Thank you.
All right, Jeff. You know, after giving up 30 points and 500 yards, 36? What most concerns you about your defense right now?
Just what you said. You know, keeping people out of the end zone. You know, I think, you know, what I've seen with our defense is, you know, there's a lot of bright spots. You know, you think about the way Courtney Lester competed in that football game. You know, we held the #1 receiver to 1 catch. And that just demonstrates the kind of quality of preparation that our coaches, our players have had. We got to continue to you know, lean on our leadership on that side of the ball, and certainly know that we have enough good players over there to really you know, respond from this one particular ball game and then get back to work this week and go on the road and play the kind of defense that we're capable of playing.
Is that the point that you brought up about shutting down the max #1 receiver? Is that something you've emphasized with the guys? Do you see them taking some I mean, the DBs have had a bit of a rough year, but do you see some confidence coming out of something like that?
Well, I like what I've seen out of Courtney last 2 weeks. You know, we've put him on the 2 best receivers in the previous 2 opponents. You know, I saw Boise Ross come up big. That's, you know, that's been a real solid move for us. I think Boise's really taken that role, and he's been very responsible. I mean, he came up big with a takeaway in that game, an interception that was huge. So, you know, I feel really good that those 2 corners are coming along, you know, and as we continue to progress, we're going to see better competition. We're going to see some great ones again this weekend. So, you know, I feel good about where those 2 corners are at, and we just need to continue to rally. And we had one of the best grades in pursuing the football, you know, which tells you that these kids are playing hard. And they're playing physical, and they want to see, you know, great success, and they'll continue to have it as they continue to grow as a defense.
Coach, what have you seen from Eastern Michigan this far? What stands out to you?
Well, offensively, they have a quarterback that can run. He was the starting quarterback at Penn State, and then he transferred to LSU and played there. So he's very athletic. We know we're going to have our work cut out to being able to contain him. You know, they like to get the ball to the tight end. They have a kind of a dual threat receiver, a running back receiver, kind of like Devin Campbell for us. They like to get the ball in his hands. You know, they're balanced, you know, 50-50 run pass. Defensively, they're multiple. They got a number of seniors and kids that have played. We saw them again, you know, last year. They compete hard. They're very aggressive, and they'll pressure, you know. So we have to be very, very disciplined with our assignments and our technique and being sound fundamentally. And then in special teams, that's going to play a big role. Obviously, we've got to continue to grow in all phases of our special teams, whether it's punt return, punt coverage, kickoff return, and then, certainly PATs and field goals. So, it's going to be another one of those weeks on the road that we have to be locked in. And these kids have done a great job. So I'm going to be excited about seeing them respond against Eastern.
Anthony, did you guys take this one a little harder, the loss on Saturday? Because it was a team that you wanted to beat, that you knew you had to beat to knock off the defending champions, did that loss hurt a little bit more maybe?
Well, it's always difficult when you don't come out on of the field as you want to win, or when you don't come off the field as you want to. And we practice to win, so when we don't leave the field with a win, it's always difficult.
You had a lot of touches the last 2 weeks. Did you spend all of Sunday in an ice bath, or what did you do?
Yeah, I definitely recovered. It's always tough on your body when you take that much wear in the game, but we do everything in the weight room to make sure that we're able to take that type of wear and tear, and then we have a great athletic staff, and they make sure that if we're not feeling well, that we get back in 100% very fast.
Did you watch the Chargers-Jets game?
Definitely. I was excited to see Bo doing his thing out there, and I had to tweet him a few times, but I'm just glad that he's able to make the most out of the opportunities presented to him.
Did you hear anything obviously he was busy, but did you hear
after
anything
the game,
from him after your 200-yard game again?
Yes.
Okay.
He throughout the game he was tweeting me, and after the game I talked to him for a little bit, and then
On the ball. Yeah. Okay.
How much did you learn from him in his time here that you were with him? What are some of the things that you did learn from Bo?
I learned a lot from Bo. The main thing that I really took from him was his work ethic, and how on the field he was a fierce competitor, and he worked as if it was his last game every game. And whenever you saw him get the ball, he exploded through holes, and he was able to make defenders miss. And he used the gifts that God gave him to make the most out of whatever opportunity he was given. And if a guy was, say there was two guys in front of him, he used his size and he'd find a way to get up under their arms and run out. And I just try to use that in the way I run. And whenever I get an opportunity, I just try to do whatever I can to stay up.
Can you describe what the feeling is like when you've got it rolling like that and you're going back-to-back 200-yard games? That doesn't happen very often.
It all starts up front, and the offensive line has been doing a tremendous job. And not only has the offensive line been doing a tremendous job, our tight ends have been doing everything they can to make sure that they sell edges. Our wide receivers are blocking downfield. And when you have everybody on the field working as one, it makes success for me just that much easier to come by, because we have everybody staying focused, and we all have the same common goal. And it makes it easier just to work when you know that the guy has your back. If I don't have the ball and I know I have the pass block, I know that the wide receivers are going to do their job and catch the ball, or the tight ends are going to do their job and catch the ball, and that the offensive line is not going to put me in a situation where I'm blocking somebody I'm not. And we all have faith in each other, and it just makes things easier on the field.
Could you talk about, you're a patient runner, just sort of setting up blocks and not, hurrying too much before the hole develops?
Well, it's all about having faith in the guys blocking for you. And day in and day out, they give me added faith when we come out and practice, and they continue to get on their guys. And I think we ended up having like 2.6% mental errors in the game. And when you have guys staying that focused, you get that peace of mind that no matter what you do, somebody has your back.
What do you mean 2.6? Is that like on offense, or
it's
running
on
backs?
offense.
Or
It's a unit. We have our goals. We try to stay. I think it's a 5% mental errors, and that's just like holding penalties, things that like limit the drive, or a guy misses an assignment. But we had 2.6% mental errors, and that's huge when you look at what our goal is and where we're trying to go. And we got guys staying fundamentally sound and being on the same page, and it makes everything easier.
how about just like have you always had that sort of patience, wait for the hole, one cut and hit it? Did you do that in high school a lot, or what? How would you describe? How has your style evolved?
Well, I haven't been that big of a fisherman, and when you for a fisherman, you have to be patient. You can't just cast your line and pull a fish out. And my high school coach, he actually has a pond in his backyard, and we spent a lot of time fishing there, and it helped me just become more patient as a person, and I carried that on into the game. Because you can't just cast your line and catch your fish, just like you can't just run in a hole and expect to have big results. Sometimes you got to milk it a little bit and then hit it, and then you get bigger success. And that's what really helped me out in high school to carry it on into college.
So are you still, you said, are you kind of a big fisherman, or
No,
you're not?
I don't even touch the fish, but
When you catch it, you won't touch. If you catch one,
so
you don't
I have
pick
to. I can't fish by myself because my friends will have to take the fish off for me.
Oh, okay. All right. When was the last time you went fishing?
It's actually been a couple years because I don't.
High school.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. All right.
You know he's a big fisherman. Do you talk fishing at all with your coach?
Actually, I read a couple of the books in Coach Quinn's office when we get a little time during summer. We used to have it's like another part of his office for our meeting room, and there was a couple of fishing books like I think it's the 50 best places to fish, and they had a little, I forgot what the place was, but it was talking about fly fishing, and I just thought that was really interesting. And I know Coach Quinn's a big fisherman, and I want to say on my official, he took us to he took all the recruits to a nice restaurant off the water, and he was telling us how it was a great place to fish, and that's one of the things I always remember about Coach Quinn.
Where was that? Do you remember?
It was downtown, right
Oh.
on the Erie Basin Marina.
I got you.
Anthony, have you surprised yourself at all? I mean, back-to-back 200-yard games, top 10 in the country in rushing. Had the success for this season even surprised you a little bit?
Definitely. You always want to play to be successful, but I just felt truly blessed to be able to do the same thing I did last week, this week, and I'm just hoping that I can continue the success, but I can't do it by myself. I definitely need my offensive line and my tight ends and my wide receivers and definitely my fullbacks to show up with me. And I just try to take everything one day at a time, stay humble, and continue to just receive these blessings that God has given me.
Anthony, how is it that after two 200-yard games, how do you manage your expectations and not try and say, I need to replicate that performance again to hit 200 yards? How is it that you still stay to what you want to do, be patient, like you said, but how do you do that knowing you just rushed for over 400 yards in 2 games?
Well, to me, the most disappointing thing for me was just losing last week, and I could rush for 300 yards, and just for us to come out with the loss, I feel like those stats don't mean anything to me because maybe I could have did more on the field for us to come up with the W, but if say I rush for 50 yards and I pick up every blitz that they throw at us and I protect the quarterback and we still come out with a win, I feel successful. So it doesn't matter if I rush for 200 yards or 10 yards. As long as we get the W and I get my job done, then I feel successful at the end of the day.
Did you put any pressure on yourself, filling in Bo's shoes, maybe to want to become better than Bo and be the next great UB running back?
Well, definitely. I try to be a leader on the field, and I feel like you lead by your actions, and that was a great thing that Bo did on the field. He always led with his actions, and off the field, he always led with his actions in the weight room, in the classroom, and he set such a tremendous example, and I want to be the guy that not only did the same thing as him, but did it better. And Bo tells me, don't try to be like me. I want you to be better than me. And I just try to strive for that success and try to make his words come true.
Coach, with Oliver's success Sunday and Anthony's success the past 2 weeks, what do you think that kind of says about the program here at UB in terms of producing these running backs who are having these careers, and then even going back to like James Starks before he arrived? What do you think it says about Buffalo?
Well, first thing that comes to mind is iron sharpens iron. And, Anthony's articulated some tremendous thoughts. And, that's what motivates all of us is that there's been previous individuals, whether it's coaches, players, that have set the bar here. And we're continuously creating that culture. And to have great running backs, you have to have great offensive linemen. You know, you have to be able to have a great defense, great special teams. You have to have great coaches. You know, it's all a combination of a lot of things. It's people. It's having the plan. It's preparing that plan, and then you should expect your program to perform, you know, when it's being tested. And then you evaluate. And that's what I did after year one. I had to evaluate what we were doing with our offense back in 2010. And I had a great conversation with Brandon Oliver at that time. I bring back that specific moment, you know, where we talked about how we wanted to move the offense forward, and we were going to build our program around, or the offensive schemes and structure around what we were going to have in Bo. And he said, "Count on me, Coach." And that's what Anthony's seeing. You know, he grew through that process too. So, you know, I feel good that we've kind of put out there that we have the right schemes, we have the right system, we have the right people, and we're going to continue to grow from here and continue to be an outstanding running football team. But it's got to correlate towards winning too, you know, and that's a big part of this complete dialogue we're having. You know, it's important, and Anthony's been very humble, and I couldn't be more proud of the way he's been working, and he's inspiring people. That's what great people do. That's what great players do. They inspire others to competitive greatness, and that's what Bo did. That's what Anthony's got an opportunity to do, and that's what I see in our program right now with our running aspect.
Is finding that, like, number one back, that kind of guy you can really rely on, is that like an emphasis for you that you like to see in your offense, having that guy that, like Anthony is now in the past couple weeks, and Bo is someone you can really rely on and kind of almost center the offense around? I mean, every coach wants to get that, but is that something you really want to emphasize?
Well, it was interesting because I knew a little bit about Anthony before Anthony thought I knew about him, because I recruited his high school prior to Anthony's time of coming out and being a prospective student athlete. And you know, it was interesting because he went to the same school, Braxton Miller. He's got a great coaching staff. It's a well-respected high school program down in the Dayton area. So, you know, when I had the opportunity to learn a little bit more about Anthony, that was a big part of what I was excited about. And all we needed to do was just, you know, keep channeling his energy and his passion and his focus into being a great player. And then, you know, having the other guys take care of things really makes a big difference in our program. So we're excited about, you know, that aspect of our program. What we need to do is just collectively pull together this week and respond and get going on Eastern Michigan.
Jeff, it seems like every week your defense has been facing some sort of unusual offense, whether it was Baylor or BG or Army. Now you're facing, like you said, a team that's 50-50 run-pass. I mean, does it almost feel odd to prepare for a team that doesn't do something a little bit unusual?
Well, you know, it's interesting because everyone has their flavor or their way of going about, you know, structurally attacking defenses, you know, and this one is another one of those that wants great balance, as we do. We want to have great balance in our offense. We want to be as successful running the ball as throwing the ball. You can see that's the mindset. New coaching staff, you know, at Eastern Michigan, so they're trying to establish, you know, that culture and that mindset, and you could tell they're working extremely hard on that aspect. So I think from our defensive standpoint, you know, it's an important week to really step up and measure up and make a statement, you know, that we can play defense, and we can play defense week in and week out and come up big. So, you know, I think we'll be well prepared. I know our coaches will work extremely hard to get our kids ready, and they'll be ready to go. They'll be energized. And, you know, we look forward to defending this offense and the personnel that they have.
After looking at the film of the third quarter, the offense in the third quarter against Bowling Green, you know, what went wrong?
Well, we took some shots, and we had some opportunities, and we just didn't convert, you know, and that's, you know, you got to connect. You know, we knew they were going to commit extra hats in the box. We were running extremely, you know, well at that point, and we weren't able to do that at a critical time. That was important. But even as we said about third quarter, we still had the lead in the fourth quarter with minutes left in the game, you know, and that's important.
Shorter into the wind, because you were going into the wind. They were sitting on shorter routes.
Well, they were defending us the way they thought they were going to defend us. We had answers, you know, and so we took it, you know, we knew that. Coach Wood called a heck of a football game, you know, as he does each and every week. He knew we were in constant communication. But, you know, you gotta be able to connect and just keep playing. and we weren't able to do that as effectively as we had done in the first half, and certainly down the stretch we had the lead, and to take advantage of that opportunity, we weren't able to close it out.
Anthony, you had the 3rd and 1. Obviously, they stopped you before the field goal try. I mean, they were loading up there. What do you think? What do you think about that play?
Well, to this day, I still have nightmares about it, and I just wish I could have gave it a little more push and just fell forward or something. And it's always tough when you don't get the deciding play. And I feel like if we would have got that, or at least got a little closer, Pat would have been more comfortable with the field goal, and it'd have been a different result of the game.
Thank you. Jeff.